As the world's focus remains on Iran, we are putting the spotlight on a forgotten crisis. It's been more than 6 months since a ceasefire was declared, but for the people in Gaza, the conditions on the ground continue to worsen. Gaza is shrinking while the woes of the Gazans are expanding as time passes by. Despite expectations of a transition towards recovery, the territory has instead seen expanding military buffer zones, persistent violence, and a deepening humanitarian crisis that has left 90% of the population entirely dependent on humanitarian aid. Israel's ever-evolving yellow line, the buffer zone, was supposed to be temporary and was poised to expand steadily. Instead, it has consumed more land and compressed the population of Gaza into an even smaller space. What began as a military demarcation has quickly become the single most powerful force shaping daily existence in Gaza. According to local and international agencies, around 90% of Gaza's population, it now relies on humanitarian assistance. Large parts of the territory remain devastated, with many families living in temporary shelters or tents. Children growing up in heartbreaking conditions. Aid deliveries have increased under the ceasefire but remain limited relative to the scale of the need. The political arrangements expected to follow the truce have yet to take shape. A proposed administrative body backed by Donald Trump, the so-called Board of Peace, has yet to establish a visible presence on the ground, and its absence has raised questions about whether the plan to hand over governance of Gaza was ever fully achievable, or if it has been overtaken by events elsewhere in the region. Meanwhile, Hamas continues to maintain a presence in parts of the territory and has not disarmed, complicating efforts to move to a second phase of the agreement. Violence has also persisted. Israeli forces have continued to carry out strikes, saying they target perceived threats, including individuals approaching restricted areas near the buffer zone. According to local reports, hundreds have been killed since the ceasefire began, with a significant number of casualties occurring near these boundaries.
A group of young people were sitting on the ground as usual while Israel conducted a reconnaissance operation. Suddenly, they were targeted in a drone strike without any reason.
The one who tells you the war is over is a liar. The one who tells you there is a ceasefire is a liar. The one who tells you we are living is a liar. We are not living, we are living under fire. Every day there are stray bullets. Every day there is fear. We are living in constant terror.
Now, with much of the territory either damaged or off limits, more than 2 million people are concentrated into a fraction of the strip, further straining limited resources and services in the region. However, the reality is different. Listen to this.
Because of the lack of gas and firewood and the difficult conditions we're living through, we resort to using a kerosene stove that's over 60 years old. I have 10 family members, and I rely on this stove, which barely covers our needs in the current situation.
Similar buffer zones have emerged in other regional flashpoints as well, including southern Lebanon and parts of Syria. It raises concerns among analysts that such arrangements could become a longer-term feature of the conflict landscape. For now, the ceasefire remains in place in name, but without clear progress towards a political resolution or reconstruction. As international attention shifts elsewhere, conditions inside Gaza continue to worsen.